yeah, that's a disclaimer. And why am I here? Highlight people that are important to me and are valuable to the community. And at first, this is Brittany, but at first I wanted to show you her LinkedIn profile. So I think it's pretty cool because she has a she's streaming study GRC, study to all those like on the top certifications, you know. So I will ask her about that. But also, if you click here, then you can go to her webpage and you see all those cool articles here. So if you want to make GRC Cyclist, so you click here and there's a lot of content you can read here. But I'm going back to Brittany. Hi guys, everyone. Look, this is Brittany. She's really amazing, and yeah, I want to give you like the space. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
A lot of people know me as 𝐵EAT. I'm very involved in a lot of different communities. So I've brought along some friends to this stream as well. So I am in GRC. I originally wanted to be a pen tester when I was breaking into this industry. I accidentally found GRC and love it. So GRC Mafia for life. So with that experience in my learning and transitioning or starting with pen testing, finding GRC, I have this unique perspective. And so I write blog articles every week showing my hacker mindset in GRC and kind of providing my unique perspective and insights and experiences that I've been through coming into this industry. So it's been a lot of fun. I found some things that I'm passionate about and a lot of things I'm passionate about. I enjoy helping other people and building community. You know, it's all about contributing to help build a more secure future, especially with the way technology is changing. We definitely need to become more secure, and we all have to work together, from GRC to pen testers to blue teamers and your development teams and everyone in the organization. So.
Yeah, it's a great answer. You're perfect. And can you introduce yourself? But can you tell me more about who you are? Who is Brittany? What makes you smile? What brings you joy? Like things like that. Yeah. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wear a lot of hats. The things that make me smile, you know, I truly enjoy. I'm very passionate, and I've said this before. I recently figured out that my passion that kind of drives the other passions is just helping other people. And so it really makes me smile to be able to, you know, help people, whether it's individuals or businesses becoming more secure, or, you know, or teaching and seeing that light bulb go off in someone's brain or their mind to kind of see something in a new perspective. And it works both ways too. Like, I enjoy learning from others and my own light bulb going off. But yeah, I kind of accidentally found this industry. I wish that I knew it was I wish I knew this opportunity existed when I was actually looking to start a career many years ago. It's a happy accident. I enjoy being here. I've not met anyone I don't like. You know, I have friends. Everyone's my friend. So you add me on LinkedIn. We're friends.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that being a pen tester is a thing as well. So yeah, when I was a teenager, I felt like being a hacker, like / programmer, that would be a cool way to, you know, like a cool career. So, but when I discovered like pen testing, like you can hack things and do it legally and like you get paid and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, and I was already a tester then, so because yeah, I have this very peculiar maybe talent that if I touch something it breaks. So I thought, yeah, being a tester actually is a perfect job for me. So I will break stuff and people will pay. So I don't know, it works. But
I hate to break the stuff.
yeah, so actually it's good that we both discovered something that we feel that we belong at. So I guess, I don't know, high five. Yeah, so my next question is, what is your specialty in cybersecurity? You already said that, but how can others gain expertise in that specialty? Can you maybe introduce people that don't know what GRC is into the concept?
Yeah. So I mean, GRC in itself is just as broad as cybersecurity. Let's be honest. There's so many parts and pieces to it. There's so many different things that you can do in GRC. So currently, right now, I'm actually in application security with a big focus on compliance and PCI DSS and NIST and iTrust, making sure that we are compliant with all of those frameworks and standards. So that's kind of my specialty, I guess, but I've learned many other things. I'm very involved with StudyGRC. If you have not heard about StudyGRC before, we accept more than just GRC. We have pen testers in our community. We're a nonprofit organization, really just trying to help build that community and provide resources to other people, whether they're looking to break into the industry or grow in their existing careers. So it's a great place to be. We're the GRC Mafia, so you see people saying GRC Mafia, that's StudyGRC. And you can find us at studygrc.org. So that's kind of my specialty. I'm kind of got my hands in a lot of different places. And, to learn more about GRC, come join us at StudyGRC. And we have a whole Discord server. We have a YouTube channel. We're streaming 5 days a week. I just got off of a stream 2 hours ago, so that we had.
Into another stream.
Yeah, I mean, so there's lots to learn there. We had a really awesome presentation in our meeting. We have our weekly meeting on Thursdays, but then we also do smaller streams the rest of the week. And so last night we had a pretty cool presentation with a guest speaker talking about product security and how product security and developers can work with GRC together and combine those worlds. So it was a lot of fun. So that's where I would start. And then from there we have tons of resources we can share.
Thank you for sharing that, because that was actually like the next thing I wanted to ask about. But thank you. And so StudyGRC, guys, I already showed you where to look for the page. And how do people actually find the stream? Is it on your webpage?
Yeah, so if you go to studygrc.org, you can find our Discord, you can find our YouTube channel, there's a Twitch channel, there's a X, so all of our socials are there. We also have resources on the website. We have a schedule. We have a Google Calendar there, so you can kind of see all of our events. You can even subscribe to that Google Calendar if you want to add it all to your calendar. So yeah,
That's really
there's a lot there.
And
That's how you find it all.
if anyone has problems finding the link, it was just pasted in the chat. So thank you for that. I think that's pretty cool, and I really love that you are sharing the knowledge with the people, like helping them learn. So yeah, I really respect that, and yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
so
a lot of fun.
yeah, my next question. I have a lot of questions, so that's like maybe last one that is a bit relaxed, and then I will just grind you like about what is GRC, like the high-level questions. But what qualities do you believe all highly successful cybersecurity professionals share?
I think, the biggest thing is just being open-minded and that willingness to learn and kind of that growth mindset, always looking to be better, because the technology is changing probably hourly at this point. So, we really have to keep up with that. And if you're someone who doesn't have that growth mindset and you're not willing to make changes or you're not willing to learn, then you're going to be stuck back with Windows 95. You just have to be able to evolve with that threat landscape. And yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest qualities. And then just being, friendly. A big nerd. Yeah, we're all nerds here.
Yeah. But I don't feel like if someone says that I'm a nerd, it's like an insult. I'm really actually proud of it because that's who I am. So better to embrace it, I guess. So
yeah.
So
I'm definitely proud of being a nerd.
Yeah.
I take it in full.
Yeah. So okay, my next question is, there's like the text is tiny. How do you define effective cybersecurity governance, and why is it critical for organizations?
So, effective security governance is going to be your foundation of your whole cybersecurity program. That's going to be your policies. So to have effective cybersecurity governance, you really need that security buy-in from stakeholders, more like your level, the people at the top of the organization. You have to have not only policies, but the supporting documentation and processes in place to make sure that those policies are followed out and implemented. And that's so important for organizations, but it's not just about being secure, it's about protecting the organization so it can fulfill its goals and objectives. And I know they're concerned about their bottom line. Well, if you have a breach and get some fines, especially in Europe with GDPR, those fines are big. So that will affect your bottom dollar. But you don't want, it's not necessarily securing every single little thing. You want to make sure that those most valuable assets to the business, to the organization, what's going to stop the organization from being able to make money or perform its objectives. So that's what effective governance is, what it comes down to.
That's a great answer. But yeah, I'm actually laughing because we have an extra guest there in like the background. So
oh, I see your cat now. I wasn't looking at that screen.
So okay, next question. What are some common governance mistakes companies make in their cybersecurity programs?
So common mistakes in their governance programs. I would say, maybe you have the policies in place, but you don't have that supporting documentation, or you do, but your employees don't know that it exists, or, there's just a lack of training is something that I could see. I've not experienced it personally per se, but you definitely have to have not only those policies in place, but your standards, your procedures. How are they supposed to meet those policies? What do they do in their day-to-day job? And this goes for everybody, all employees, beyond just the security team. So how do they take all of that to be able to make sure that those policies are implemented? There has to be training. You can't just write documentation, throw it out there, and expect them to know how to use it either. So anytime you create new processes or have any kind of new documentation. You have to go to those teams and make sure that they understand what it means to them, what it means for their how it changes their day-to-day roles. So yeah.
Thank you. Actually, I'm learning here with you because I have to admit I have no idea what GRC means. So you're teaching me here live. So yeah,
I love it.
Thank you for doing that actually. And my next question will be how does cybersecurity GRC align with overall business strategy, in your opinion?
So I mean, it has to. At the end of the day, the GRC strategy has to not bottleneck those business goals and objectives and that strategy. It has to be there to enable it. Otherwise, there's no return on your investment there. If, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but that's the whole point of security is securing, words are hard, securing those high value assets to the business, but one business's high value assets are not going to be the same as they are for another company. So you definitely don't want to create some silo, or you don't want your salespeople or your developers not to be able to do their job that makes the business money because of the security. But you have to make sure that what you're securing is valuable to the business, where I just got confused in my own brain, but so I'm sure what I'm saying is super confusing, but yeah, I mean, you want to prevent bottlenecks, you want to prevent silos, and you want to make sure that you're enabling whatever that business strategy is, and every business is going to be totally different, so.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, yes, thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
Not that confusing, although it's late for me, but yeah. So
yeah.
If I don't, yes. So if I understood, then I have a migraine and and I'm tired. So then it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are the biggest cybersecurity risks organizations face today, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the humans, right?
Yeah.
Because some of it's outside of security. We live in our little bubble here because we know not to click the link, but not everyone knows not to click the link. And so you need to make sure that you are training all of your employees, because you can secure the company, but all it takes is that one employee, Carl over in accounting, and they click the link, and now you have threat actors in your company and breaches, and so in my opinion, it's the humans.
So do you actually, because that's like not everyone agrees with that sentence that humans are like the weakest link, but do you think like it's the employees, or like maybe it's a responsibility of the company to train them, or like are we actually the weak link, or is that someone else?
So I think some companies are really good at that, I've seen, but a lot of them are not, and it's that security awareness and that training. What does your training look like? Is it some video that they just click through and don't really pay attention to, and answer a simple 5-question quiz that's really common sense? Or are they actually going through a simulation and learning how phishing works, what to look for? So it does come down to that training, and it is ultimately the accountability lies with the business, but security is everyone's responsibility. But if that person doesn't fulfill, or that person isn't aware, and then it does go back to the business because they didn't train them. But at the end of the day, I still feel like the humans are the weakest link, but it's it is up to the company to make sure that they are not that weak link.
Yeah, that's
If that makes sense.
yeah, like train them and like introduce them. They will probably not know every threat that there is, because the threat actors are like really intelligent people, and they're like, you know, like creating new ones every day. But at least the most popular ones, like phishing or like, yeah, what to look for. Actually, that's like really interesting, because I had those phishing trainings at my previous company, and they taught us like what to look in the email, like there be like misspelled words, or like something not right with the email address, or like, but most of those are not really there with AI being like very, you know, helpful to threat actors right now. So that's like an interesting new layer on that thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And yeah, there's a question in the chat, so I'll read it now. How do you log track your accomplishments, and how do you append to old logs? Do you use some sort of software to keep track, or just a plain journal?
So I mean, I keep files and whatnot, but as far as the organization, I probably just lean on my LinkedIn profile. And then, you know, if it goes beyond that, and I may not fully understand the question, but I do a lot of note-taking. And so I use Notion for my note-taking. There's lots of different platforms you can use for notes, but I like to use, I am a pen and paper kind of person, because I'm a very kinesthetic learner. And so writing things down helps it stick in my brain better than typing it. But the benefit of using a platform like Notion is you can search through those notes, and some of them are very well organized, some of them are not organized at all. But I can use the search box and find what I need. So.
Yeah, actually I use Notion as well, because I like very much. Actually, I like Jira. I don't know if I should say that in public, but I really like Jira, and I like the.
I don't know if you should say that in public.
Yeah, it's like a kinky statement there, but I like Notion because you can have a Kanban board there, and I like to like be organized, and then I see, okay, I prepared that call for papers, for example, so I can move it to done, and then I have to prepare presentation for that conference, so I have it in progress, for example, and I have pending tasks, like what I want to do next, and so that's like super helpful. But I think the question was about your accomplishments. So if you get a new certification, how do you track that? So I think there is a track, like you can log it in like a special page. I don't remember it, but you get like badges there for every certification.
Oh, Credly?
Yeah, Credly, and also like I actually track everything. It was a question for Brittany, but I will answer first, and then maybe she wants to add something to her response. So I put everything on LinkedIn because it's like my I spent like the CV that I spent most time on working on. If that makes sense. And so everything is there, like my presentations, my public speaking. If I was in a podcast, it's there. If I wrote an article, it's there. If I don't know, there's like a Twitch stream, I put it there. So and you can add like new, I don't know, places there. I don't know how to explain this. New categories. So for example, if I have like something that I published, then it's a category, or maybe I have an award, it's also something that you can add there. So it's like, you can edit your LinkedIn however you want. So that's helpful.
Yeah, so I have like my certifications and stuff on LinkedIn. My blogs and whatnot, I keep track of all of those within Notion. I also am currently leading a CISSP study group on YouTube. And you can find that CISSP.BrittWhite subdomain there. But so all of those things that I'm doing, YouTube videos, blogs, I keep track of all of that within Notion, kind of using it like project management, and I set statuses, where am I at on this blog article or whatever the case. But so that's kind of that use case. My certifications, I know that maybe they're asking for tracking on, you have to renew some of them. The only certifications I have that I would have to renew are from 𝐭𝐭𝐲𝐬, and I don't plan to renew them per se. They will be renewed, but so I got my Security Plus, and then I got the Security X. So the Security X, I took the beta exam, and their beta exams are $50. So when you get a 𝐭𝐭𝐲𝐬 certification, that Security X also renewed my Security Plus. So I have 3 years from July of 2024 that they expired. And I'll just wait until that 3rd year and look for the next beta exam for $50 and hopefully pass and get my certifications renewed.
That's really smart.
So that's my tracking there. I don't track CPEs currently. I don't see a need to. I'm still learning, constantly, but I don't have time to track every little thing. But, so.
Yeah. So as for me, I actually track everything on LinkedIn. It's kind of perverse because I have I don't know, like 30 certifications from, and the only one is like the big one, like actually worth mentioning in my CV, like the Security Plus. But I really want to try my chances at OICP this year again. So yeah.
Good luck. You can do it.
Yeah,
I'd love to get the OSCP one day. It's still on my list, even as a GRC person.
Yeah, I actually, I think I shot myself in the knee first time because I put so much pressure on myself. I kind of like folded under the pressure in the day of the exam, and also my laptop almost burned, so that didn't help.
Oh no.
So maybe next time I will try not to schedule it a lot of time in front, in the future. So not to have like months to put pressure on myself, but first learn, like do the course. Like actually, I just need like a reminder because I'm learning every day, so I probably know all of the stuff that I need there. But just like do like a reminder and then schedule it or do it in like a few days from now, So that will be my plan for this time, I guess. But I digress. So yeah, what?
Good luck. You got that OSCP.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Fingers crossed. So my next question: How do you balance cybersecurity risk management with business innovation and growth?
I think just constantly keeping up to date and also understanding your threat landscape. Words are hard. Specific to your business, to your organization. If you're balancing your risk, you should have like a risk register where you have everything. It's basically like a catalog of all the risks that can affect your business, which to get to that risk, you have to understand the vulnerability and the threat. So you're tracking all of that. But it's not just a once a year for compliance type process. It should be something that you're constantly monitoring and updating. And while you're keeping up with the latest news and what new CVE just came out and all of those things, it's a lot of work, there's some of those processes I feel like you could probably automate to kind of save some of that time. But that's how you balance it, is not just looking at your risk once a year for your PCI compliance or whatever the case. You're constantly monitoring that in what affects your business specifically.
Yeah, there is a question in the chat. Thank you for answering about the Microsoft OneNote app. And do we think that it's a good to use as a journal? I think it all depends on what do you like to use, so everyone has their own preference. But OneNote is a good app, I think. Everyone has their favorite one. I have Notion, and I think 𝐒𝐭𝐮𝐝𝐲𝐆, I never know how to say his name. He likes Obsidian, so everyone likes something else. So I guess try compare it with something else, and I think you will find your favorite one. But what do you think, Brittany?
Yeah, so my thoughts on that is, me personally, there's a lot of good things about Obsidian. I would have to learn that though, and so I don't have time to learn a note-taking app. That's not where I want to spend my time. I want to spend my time learning things that are relevant to my job. I love Notion because Notion works for me personally. I understand how to use it. I can organize well with it. But OneNote is great too. And if you're already using OneNote and it works for you, then don't transition to Notion or Obsidian because someone said so. If you're using, a pen and paper and that works for you, go for it. There's so many different applications you can use for note-taking. I wouldn't waste a whole lot of time, unless you have time, to learn a note-taking application. I would spend time focusing on the skills that are relevant to your position and take notes in what way works best for you, and everyone's going to be different. But I know plenty of people who use OneNote. I know people who use Notion, Obsidian, Notepad. Them is a fun one too, right? So, and then, pen and paper never fails us, right? So.
Yeah, and if you know how to leave Vim, that's already an achievement. You can feel like a hacker there.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever works best for you and is most productive for you, I would stick with it.
Yeah, I actually...
If you don't have something, then try a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I use like a traditional notebook as well, so I journal with my pen, because my eyes are valuable, so I try to save my eyes whenever I can, not look into the screen 24/7. Okay, so but let's get back to the... I want to get back to the GRC questions. So, how do you ensure compliance without making it just a check-in-the-box exercise?
So, I think understanding that compliance is not security, but security also isn't always compliance. So to not have it as a checkbox exercise, sure, you do still have to go through and check the boxes, but what are you doing beyond that? If your company has to meet PCI DSS, for example, your PCI DSS is looking at only the part of your environment that takes cardholder data. So there's a whole part of your environment that's not even included in that. And yes, you have to go through, check the boxes, whatever, provide your evidence. But what about the rest of your environment? Are you following a larger framework like NIST or ISO? There's lots of different frameworks out there. But even with those, are you going through and checking the boxes? Oh, we have that implemented. Or are you going through and checking the boxes and then saying, okay, does this actually work? Is this really preventing this risk, or not preventing it, but minimizing this risk? Because you're not going to prevent something 100%, maybe 99, but I think that's a lot of how you're going to make it not just a checkbox. Is we can't avoid compliance. It's always going to be there. We have to check those boxes. But what are you doing beyond checking those boxes? That's the big question.
Yeah, like what are your daily actions there? Because yeah, some companies maybe I would say on an example of a pen test. So some companies may think that doing a pen test once a year, that's enough, and they're like secure, or just doing it once and then yeah, we are secure. We have the paper signed and like everything is great there. But actually, tomorrow can be like a new 0 day there, and your pen test is not enough. So your daily actions and like what is your yeah, posture, like security posture there, like
yeah. And you know, compliance is going to be like your minimum security. That's what you have to meet to be compliant. But that doesn't mean you're secure. And that's your baseline. And so you really need to be consistently monitoring. You need to be not necessarily, I wouldn't say you need to be constantly pen testing, but you should be constantly scanning for vulnerabilities. There's a lot that can be automated there versus doing a pen test every week. That would be crazy. But you definitely want, you know, if your compliance says you need 1 pen test a year, you need to go back to your risk assessment and see if that's really what the business needs. How often are you changing your environment? How often are new vulnerabilities being introduced? And if you have an audit once a year for whatever compliance you have to meet, what are you doing the rest of the year? Are you just scrambling before that audit to make sure you're compliant, or are you actually living out that compliance and more in your day-to-day business?
yeah, that's a very good answer actually. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I wanted to ask about something that I just noticed in your background. I see that you have orchids there.
Orchids?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're back there.
Yeah.
And that covers them up quite a bit. I'm really hoping they last. They're new, but my thumbs are not very green, so I just hope they survive.
Yeah. I just moved to a different apartment and I never had plants before because yeah, I have 2 cats. So apparently having cats and plants, that's no go. It's not, doesn't add up. But yeah, I'm trying to just pick the ones that are not poisonous to my cats and like trying to, because all of the plants that I had, actually I had some plants, but all of them died pretty soon. So I just like fingers crossed, because I have like a big tree in my living room right now, so I don't want to kill the tree. It's like really nice, and it feels like very, very relaxing to sit under a tree when I'm watching some TV show there. So yeah, and actually it's really nice to look at something green. So I kind of like you a little bit more that you have those flowers there.
Yeah. And they have a, see that right there, it's not on because it would mess up my background, but they do have their own UV light so they can get sunlight. Yeah, so I have lots of lights in this room.
Yeah. I just have the one straight in my face right there.
I have 2 in my face and a lot back there, and yeah, lots of light. I like the blinky lights.
Yeah, that's a cute. Actually, you have like a very cute background. As I digress now, it's like a commercial break, guys. So because we are talking very, very serious things, but wanted to say that you can see like I have Wonder Woman shield there in the corner. So I have the whole armor.
Yeah.
So just I want to buy like a mannequin, maybe put it in the corner like the full armor cosplay thing.
Right.
And I want to. This is a wall that I can draw on. So I want to draw.
Like a chalkboard?
Yeah, like a chalkboard, and I want to draw like the logo, the red woman in red from my.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you should have like a mural there on the side of Wonder Woman in red. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I want to. I want to do that, but I'm still adjusting myself into the new environment. So it's going to be. If anyone wants to see how the progress is going, like you can watch my next streams, and maybe one stream there would be not like a nose. On the next one there would be like a left eye. Like whatever. Let's see. But I digress. So thank you for answering. You're like very explaining that really well, and good job.
I tried.
So you actually said that I'm in good hands with you, and actually I'm super calm right now. So thank you for that. And
I love it.
And being in like. Being with friends, kind of, because I feel you're my friend. I met you in person on the Wild West Hacking Fest, and you were like super supportive before my presentation and like during the core conference, which was like a big thing to me as well. My first time.
You're in a totally different country and so many things going on, and it's not a calm environment by any means.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of weird nerds hanging out. It gets crazy.
Yeah, but good crazy. I like that kind of.
Yeah. Not bad crazy, but it's a lot for introverts like us. I like to hide in our little rooms with RGB lights. But yeah, it was great meeting you in person, and you're definitely my friend for sure.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask. There's like some question. I am scrolling down. There's still some questions there on the list. So can you share a real-world example of a company that effectively managed a cybersecurity crisis through strong GRC practices?
So I'm gonna say at the moment I don't have a company like this off the top of my head. Personally, I've not lived through a big cybersecurity crisis. I have lived through some crises, something. But professionally, in my current role, I'm still rather new to this industry, and that's not imposter syndrome speaking. That is simply, I just haven't been there long enough I've seen some crazy things come in on the logs and whatnot, but I've not lived, even the whole CrowdStrike thing missed me. So, I don't really have a good example. I could probably find one by a quick search, but personally, I don't have an awesome example for that question.
It was kind of like a curveball, so no worries there. If anyone's from the chat has any examples, then go ahead and share that. But okay, so I will ask the next one. What are some best practices for fostering a strong security culture in an organization, in your opinion?
So one thing I recently learned about, and it's not a new thing, but if anyone's ever heard of like security champions, it's basically this concept where you have people who are interested in security and being secure, but they're not necessarily on your security team. This might be a developer, or it might be, someone in HR, or literally anywhere in the business. But you have these security champions where they kind of promote that security culture within their various departments. And these people might get together and hang out, have like a lunch and learn type situation. It really allows for more collaboration throughout the organization and across these various teams. They can you know, the security team can hang out with them, become friends, and help them learn and understand how to be more secure in what they are doing. And then they can take that information and pass it along to their friends. And then we don't have Carl in accounting clicking links because he learned from his security champion not to click that link. So I think, and really it's not an expensive program at all because it doesn't cost any money at all for people to just hang out. It might if you are buying meals or whatever the case, but you could literally do it without any cost to the organization. It promotes security throughout. It builds that security culture, and it builds those relationships. It builds the rapport. People work better together when they understand, how, us as a security team, we may be like, oh, well, you have to do this, but we may not always understand how that affects them, or how that makes their job more difficult or more tedious. So I think it's a really cool idea.
And in your opinion, how do you think a company should handle security awareness training to ensure employees understand and follow compliance requirements? It's a bit connected to the previous question, I think.
Yeah. So I think, video training with videos is great, but you need to make sure that those videos are not boring and that they're relatable and they're engaging. Even better is having, kind of a lunch and learn type training where you're actually getting hands-on with something or some kind of live presentation. And I don't have a ton of experience with it, but I do understand how people learn best, and people learn best when it's relevant to them. And if they don't see that relevance, if they can't relate to what you're teaching, they're going to zone out, and they're going to click through that training, and then they're going to answer the easy quiz and check that box for compliance that they did their awareness training. But coming out of it, they didn't actually learn anything. You really have to understand your employees, how they learn best, what is relevant to them, and build your training on that.
Yeah, I think so too. Because if it's boring, then I know it about myself. I would definitely zoom out and think about my lunch or something. So
yeah,
and I really like when, for example, there's a presentation and there's like the topic is not the most engaging, so it's a bit boring. I used to work for government, so there was like a lot of those. But then the presenter does like a group training, so you have to go in groups and like engage with each other, or he shares a joke, or he shares like a story from real life, or like or maybe there's like some kind of a video, something else happening, so and you're still like hooked and you can continue, or at least you have breaks and you can get coffee if you're like really falling asleep there.
Yeah, at least throw some memes or something, some funny jokes into your presentation, or your video, something, and that way they're like, oh, that just caught my attention. Now I'm listening now.
Yeah, like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Totally off topic.
Yeah, that's also a good way to engage people, I think. Or maybe share a picture of your cat, if you or a dog, whatever. Okay.
Like intentionally put a really irrelevant slide of your dog dressed up, super hilarious. And then you're going through this your slideshow, you're presenting, and you're really serious, you're talking about something, you go to the next slide like you're just still presenting, and then you're like, oh, I didn't mean to put that there, and you know it's there, but it gets everybody's attention, and they're paying attention now.
Yeah, and they may be
laughing.
Yeah, laughing.
Yeah, so you got to do something to wake people up and make sure they're still with you.
Yeah, and also like I got that. Okay, so being a presenter like on stage on conferences, it's like still a journey for me. So at first I just wanted, my first presentation was I really wanted to share all of my knowledge in like 30 minutes, and it was like so packed with content. People told me like from all of that, because I was just flying through my slides. People told me like through all of that you can easily make 3 presentations, and just make it like tinier, and talk about the things on the slide more than just like flying through the presentation and having a lot of slides. So, but I was told that having a story actually works. So I did that in Denver actually. So I had a story to teleported everyone into the bank lobby, and told them like what is the background there, and like then there was a follow-up slides like what is the conclusion out of that. So yeah, actually creating a story is also like a good idea, but maybe I digress here a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you have to do what fits you and what works for you. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to teach differently. Everyone's going to present differently. That's one of the things on my list this year, actually. I have never done a presentation at a conference before. It is definitely a fear of mine that I've got to face. That way I can help other people and put that value out there and make an impact. But I'm definitely not one to want to be in the center of attention. But I'm going to submit some CFPs and we're going to see what happens. And,
Fingers crossed.
Maybe I'll be presenting here soon.
Yeah, so just a hint, Deadwood is open, so you can submit there.
I'm going to submit for Deadwood CFP. I've got to get all that together.
That's really cool. I already sent mine, so fingers crossed for me as well. I really want to. It's like kind of like a dream of mine to go there. Because that feels like a very cool conference, and also like the Deadwood TV show is like one of my favorites, maybe my top 5. And I recently watched it, so it will be like a good vibe to go actually into the city that is like very, still historic and not a lot changed. So like another layer, like why I want to go there.
Yeah, I went to Deadwood last year, and it's such a really cool experience. It's different than any other. You were at Wild West Hackenfest in Denver, and I mean, Black Hills just puts on a really good conference. But there's something special about Deadwood that you won't get anywhere else. And Denver was amazing. I'm excited to go back next year. But there's just something special about Deadwood. I love it. I'm looking forward to hopefully being back this year too. It's on my can't miss list. So if I miss it, it's going to be a pretty valid reason.
So I just got a subscription, so I will change the screen for a second. Bear with me.
Yeah.
Which one was it? Everybody does now. Yeah, thank you. I haven't streamed for a while, so.
I love it.
Okay, my next question is like 3 more questions about GRC, and then I will start wrapping up a bit with like the lighter questions. But how do organizations measure the effectiveness of their GRC programs?
Testing. I mean, you're a pen tester, so you gotta test it and make sure it works, right? So you're testing for vulnerabilities, but you can test your processes in a completely different but similar way. So it's not a pen test at that point, but you have to, your testing could be by interviewing that employee and seeing what they're actually doing to implement that process. Are they doing it correctly? Do they know how to do it correctly? But so your testing could be an interview. It could be some kind of evidence for lots of different ways to do it, but the simple answer is testing.
Thank you for the answer. Yeah, I'm reading the chat, so my cat is singing in the background. Yeah.
I love it.
So I wanted to find if there's a question coming, but yeah, I don't see a question yet, so I will ask mine instead. What are some common misconceptions about cybersecurity GRC that you'd like to debunk? If you can think of any.
Yeah, I think there's a big one, and that's I think that there is some miscommunication potentially in those looking to break into the industry through GRC, because I think some people believe that they don't have to have technical skills to be in GRC. And so I think the important difference is in GRC, it's a lot of documentation and whatnot. I actually wrote a blog on this particular topic, but in GRC, it's a lot of documentation and writing and your governance, risk, and compliance. But you still have to have, at least at minimum, that foundational technical knowledge. And this is specifically to those maybe trying to break in without a IT background or something. You still have to understand how computers work and how they communicate. And you may not be doing very technical tasks like someone like you as a pen tester, but you can't audit or understand if your processes are working or implemented or whatever the case, if you don't understand that technical aspect behind it. So it's great. It's even better if you are technical. You don't have to be super technical because you're not a pen tester, for example, but you do have to have somewhat of that foundational knowledge and understand how the technology works underneath everything. So I think that's one misconception there.
Thank you. That's actually a good one. Thank you for sharing. Last question about GRC. So, fingers crossed. Okay. If you had to give one piece of advice to businesses looking to strengthen their GRC programs, what would it be?
One piece of advice to strengthen your GRC program. I think that it really depends from one business to the next on that. If you want to really strengthen your GRC program, though, start with the people. And do they even know or understand, do they know that your GRC processes even exist? And in what ways that it applies to them? I think I would start with your people, your employees, and don't forget your third-party contractors and everyone too. But I think if you want to build your GRC program, make it more effective or whatever, you're the cat. I love it.
Yeah.
I think I would start with the people.
He wanted to pass like this on the desk, but he felt shy, I think, and left.
I love it.
So a bit of Easter eggs here. So, but a really good answer. And is that everything you wanted to share on this one, or is there maybe
I mean, you covered a lot with those questions. Those are some deep questions making me really think over here. Use my brain.
That's good.
I love it.
Thinking is good. It's an exercise. Yeah. And okay, so and actually another question is about thinking as well. I think because do you have a hacking philosophy or guiding principle you live by? like some. Is there something like for me is, for example, one of them is it's not if I get I don't get accepted if I send my CV. So I feel like it's not it's already rejection. So and not I don't remember the English word for that. If someone doesn't want you in their like a company, it's not that word, and I don't remember it. But it's it's turning you into the path that you actually should go. So I don't think if a company doesn't want to hire you is something that you should take personally. I think you should just take it as a learning experience and move along with that experience. So yeah.
I mean, you have to have that mindset of if a company doesn't hire you, it's not your loss at all, because there's something, you don't know what it is, but there's something out there for you, and there's going to be an opportunity. You just have to have that patience. For me, I do have, kind of a guiding principle or whatever. It's hard to put it all into words because there's a lot up here in my head. I think the biggest thing it comes down to is just building others, building community, and where can I spend my time that drives impact. I don't want to be a cog in the machine somewhere, and I don't want anyone to take that in a wrong way, because there are some of us who are great cogs in the machine. It's not always a bad thing, but it's not me personally. And I want to spend my time where it's going to be the most impactful, whether that's in my, that applies to my career, but it also applies to my family. It's beyond my career, and, but build others, and help us create a more secure future. So that's the gist of it.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. I have my cat in the background. I'm sorry for that.
I know. Oh, you're fine.
He's singing. He has a voice, so we are recording. He's singing. It makes sense, I guess. So I actually like one of the things that when I started in cybersecurity, it was super hard. I didn't have any mentors, no direction, so I learned everything myself. I directed myself, and so like one of the things that I wanted to do is to be a senior that I didn't have when I was a junior. So that's what I'm trying to do. Actually, one of the things that you just mentioned, that sharing the knowledge with other people, like directing others, is like something that I want to do, and I think we need more people like that in the industry as well. It's like super helpful industry. Like everyone is very, nurturing, and I don't feel there's any like people that are doing like, oh, I will not share my knowledge with you. No, like like it's a secret. But
everyone I've ran into, they want to share their knowledge freely, and you can ask them. I've gone to many conferences, and I've not found anybody that I can't just walk up, introduce myself, and the conversation starts flowing naturally, and I learn from them, and they learn from me. I love it. It's so welcoming, because we all have at least one thing in common, and that's we're a bunch of nerds, and we love being nerds. I love this industry. It's a fun place to be.
Yeah, that's a pretty random thing to add to that statement, but I also like cheese, so I'm just looking at my plush here. I have a cheese plush.
Yeah, and I even see StudyGRC in chat saying nerd.
Yeah. Okay, so actually when you mentioned the chat, I wanted to ask a question that I see there. So what is the first framework or international standard we should implement? That's yeah, I think a GRC related question.
Yeah, so what framework or international standard should you implement? As a business, it really depends on what data you're processing, what data you're touching. It depends on your location. What country are you in? There's a lot of different factors there. If you're not sure, if you have a privacy legal team, then I would definitely be communicating with that privacy and legal team, because they're going to know which frameworks you have to follow. So there's the frameworks you have to follow for all of that, but then there's some larger frameworks like NIST and ISO. So if you're trying to pick, I mean, I don't know how to pick one necessarily. Which one are you more familiar with? Start there. In the United States, I know that NIST is a great starting point, but I mean, you can go ISO. There's so many, and there's so many out there, more than what I just listed, but it really depends on the business. Now, if you're someone looking to break into the industry, I don't really think it matters. Just go learn a framework, and once you know one framework and understand those controls, then the next ones will be easier to pick up and understand.
Yeah, because you understand the baselines. Like,
Right.
I understood what that reference, because when I learned like a programming language, then like the basics of every programming language is pretty similar, and there is like a for loop and like this and that, and yeah, so that resonated with me actually. Good answer.
Yeah. I mean, programming languages are the same. I've dove into some of them as well, and yeah, the syntax may be different.
Yeah.
You have to type it a little differently, but they all work very similarly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you. And so next question is like going into the cinematics right now. So what is the best book or movie that can be used to illustrate cybersecurity challenges, in your opinion, if there is one that comes to mind?
There is not one that comes to mind right off the bat. My mind is drawing a blank.
That's okay. But cybersecurity challenges, so for me, maybe that will be an example, maybe Mr. Robot, or maybe war games could be like, not really, but that's a challenge with like AI and like
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't. And it's been the bigger problem here is it's been a while since I've sat down and watched an entire movie from start to finish.
That's okay.
I think that's the bigger issue here.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So I will. Yeah. So to follow up that question, so what is a hacker movie or a TV show that got it completely wrong or surprisingly right? And what is your favorite hacker movie? You can answer one of those questions. You don't have to answer two. But for me, I will share mine first. I think mine is The Matrix, because and I pulled the woman in the red dress out of The Matrix. And the TV show would be Mr. Robot, because it reminded me of the thing that I dreamed about being a teenager, and that's how I started learning to be a pen tester. But which show got it completely wrong, surprisingly right, is a trick question. I don't really know how to answer it myself, so no worries if you don't have an answer for that. So give you the voice now.
Well, I mean, The Matrix got it completely wrong, right? It's all like, I know what got it completely wrong. Back to the Future, because they were way ahead of the technology. What was that? Where Back to the Future, where they went into the future. I think it was 2012 or something, when they had the floating cars and the hoverboards, and so they got it completely wrong there.
Do you remember cartoon The Jetsons family, something like that?
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. They got it wrong too.
Yeah, but some of the things are like similar, like Zoom calls, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
But your Zoom call doesn't come in on a robot that's your housemate either.
That's fair, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I grew up with the Jetsons. I love the Jetsons.
Yeah, actually, I learned English watching Cartoon Network as a child, so that was my first, English course. So that's, I think that's funny because when
That's awesome.
yeah, my first like actual English lessons happened when I started high school, and I already knew a lot of I had like a very serious level. I watch a lot of cartoons, and yeah, so and anime. So I read the subtitles. So that's how I learned like grammar. And so one of my first lessons in high school, I wrote like a science fiction essay, like a short story, and I wanted to share it with the class. And the teachers said that, oh, it's no way that you wrote it yourself, because we didn't learn those grammar rules yet. So it was like, okay.
My bad.
That's not helpful, teacher, but I wrote it myself, so whatever.
That's so cool. I love it. I grew up on Cartoon Network. There's a special place in my heart for Cartoon Network that's old, not the current cartoons. Current cartoons are lame.
Yeah. Okay, so I have two questions that are a bit connected with each other, but you don't have to answer the first one if you don't want to. But the first one is, what is the biggest mistake you've ever made, and how did you recover from it? What did you learn from it? And the next one is, what do you feel was your biggest win in life? Like private or professional, whatever you choose.
So my biggest mistake is not finding this industry sooner. And my biggest win is, I've failed certification exams but I think what I want to say here is we all make mistakes and we all have wins, but when you fail on something, it's not a failure unless you give up. And so if you're able to overcome that loss or whatever the case, that's a win. I think that's the big thing that I want to say here, since I can't think of a simple example off the top of my head because I got distracted.
It's okay.
I think that people really are easily discouraged when they fail their OSCP or they fail that certification exam that was going to get them a promotion or get them into the industry. Nobody's stopping you from trying again. So learn from those mistakes and do it again. The biggest failure is giving up. So if you have big dreams and big goals, be patient and don't stop working at it. So
yeah, I think I'm a good example here because I started from nothing and now I'm here, like work for Black Hills, and that's like I'm the first person in Poland to actually work for Black Hills, and that's really wild. I work here since like November, and I'm still getting used to that idea of me being there. So it's like it's massive for me. It's like a really big deal, and I actually love it there. So just wanted to say that, and also actually wanted to say that if you make a mistake but you learn from it, that was not like really a mistake, it's a learning journey, and you learn a lot of things in your life, and like on your mistakes as well. So if you make a mistake that is like really big, and I think you will learn in that on that level that you will never make that mistake again, because it will be, just like be imprinted into your brain till you die, you know. So that's what I think. And I have two more questions. I think you mentioned the StudyGRC and like your streams and your YouTube channel, but are there any projects, books, or initiatives you're currently excited about that you'd like to share now here?
I mean, I always have a lot of pots boiling on the stove, right? I wear a lot of hats. I'm doing a lot of things. One thing I'm really excited about is submitting my first CFP, and you know, I have zero expectations on that, and if they get accepted, then that's exciting and nerve-wracking, right? But I'm super excited for all of that. I am excited to continue growing and becoming a better professional and helping other people. Let's see, what was the question again?
Are there any projects, books, or initiatives you're currently excited about?
So then, beyond that, you know, I have my CISSP study group. There'll be something after that. I don't know what that is. I'm waiting on me to accidentally publicly commit myself to something there. I would love to write a book, develop courses. So lots of things, you know, here, but one of these days they're gonna be in deliverable form. So. Yeah.
What is your favorite food or dish? Because I'm a foodie and like, yeah, I always ask.
My favorite food or dish, my favorite food is Japanese food, and not a specific dish, and not, you know, a chain restaurant either. I like that mom and pop, hole in the wall Japanese food restaurant that has like the best food, the best flavors. That's my favorite kind of food.
Actually, yeah, I do agree with you here, because those like family-led small restaurants are actually where the heart is. And if anyone wants to visit Poland, I would advise to go and visit a milk bar. It's like a cheap bar for, I don't know, everyone, but you get like home-cooked meals there. That actually, for me, whenever I go to like Poland, like another city, I go to a milk bar, because home cooked feels better for me with like Michelin restaurant actually. So I do that resonated with me as well, and I actually like Japanese as well. So yeah, if you want to add anything at the end, you can do it now. But I don't have any more questions. I don't see any more questions. Oh yeah, I see one more question. Sorry. What are the best tricks to get management to commit to improving cybersecurity?
Speak in their language. So understand who that management is. Is this, you know, you're going to talk to your security manager differently than you're going to talk to maybe your chief financial officer, right? So your security manager understands what security needs to be implemented, but someone like your CFO, your chief financial officer, they're going to speak in terms of dollars, and they're not going to care about all the little technical details. They want the big picture. How much is this going to cost us? What's the return on investment, your ROI? So the biggest trick is understanding your audience and talking to them in the words that they understand, whether that's financial or technical or non-technical, non-financial. You know, talk in terms of business. That's the best trick there. And also explaining to them how how security or a lack of security would affect them or affect their organization. Those are the big keys there.
Yeah, that's actually a very good answer, because they don't understand the super detailed technical. Yeah, they maybe understand, but like not on the pen tester level. So, on the example of writing a report, there's also like executive summary, where you try to explain the technical things and what you found in like an easy to understand way, so that people that have money actually in the company can make decisions, strategical ones, based on like what they understood from the report, like what are the threats, and yeah. So actually, I agree with you. You have to adjust your language to who you are communicating with. A very good answer. Okay. I guess no more questions. So you can, if you want to say something at the end, go ahead.
Yeah, so my website, I have blogs. I release them every Monday morning US time. So I don't know what that is, their afternoon maybe on Mondays. So once a week, I'm publishing blog articles. You can go to my website, you can subscribe. It's totally free. There's no catch. I just want to provide value to the community. And then I have my CISSP study group. So if you're studying for the CISSP, or you just want to learn, you're not interested in taking the test. I am not taking the test, but I'm learning. I'm studying with everyone else. It's a great learning opportunity. We live stream on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which you can find from CISSP.BrittWhile.io. And then after the stream, we jump into a Discord server, which is also linked on that website. And we talk in the voice channel there to answer any questions or dive deeper into discussions on relevant topics to that session. The next session is tomorrow. So we have those study sessions twice a week on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And there's a schedule on the website for that. So you don't have to be going to get your CISSP to come learn with us. We don't bite too badly, so feel free to join.
Actually, I love that you're doing that. I already said that, I think, but actually, CISSP is the first course that I went through when I wanted to enter cyber. So I learned a lot, like basic things to understand better what cybersecurity is. Like before, I jumped into super technical hacking. So yeah, that's actually really good place to learn. And so thank you for coming to my stream. I really enjoyed the time spent with you. Sorry for my technical problems, but you were very...
It happens to everybody, and I super appreciate you inviting me to come hang out, and I've had a good time. I've enjoyed sharing GRC with a pen tester.
Yeah,
love that.
Actually, because I had like a lot of red teamers and like from the offensive side people, but I never had anyone that was in the GRC kind of career. So I wanted to introduce you to the people here, and so you could explain what GRC is, so we can learn something from you. And I learned something today, so I'm happy that I invited you as well. And
it's all about that collaboration and the different teams. We may have our different specialties, but us working together creates a stronger security program. So I'm happy to be here. Anyone here, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and message me even if you have any further questions or if there's any way that I can help. I'm one person and I'm limited. So when I say that, But yeah, I really just want to help people in any way that I can. So yeah, I'm very thankful to be here.
Thank you. And going to wave and change the screen. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.